Okay, so get this. A major tech company builds its most powerful AI ever. And then, the very next day, they decide it's way too dangerous to release to anybody. And no, that's not the plot of a new movie. It's exactly what just happened at the AI lab Anthropic.
Just this week, they pulled the curtain back on a model called Claude Mythos, and its capabilities are, frankly, stunning. But instead of popping the champagne and taking a victory lap, they put it under lock and key, which, as you can imagine, kicked off a massive debate.
So yeah, that's the big question, right? Why would you build your magnum opus and then immediately hide it from the world? To understand that, you really have to dig into what this thing can do. Because this isn't about a slightly smarter chatbot. This is about a brand new and honestly pretty alarming skill.
Mythos isn't just another small step forward. It is a massive leap, especially in its almost scary ability to understand and write computer code.
So there's this test in the industry called SWE-bench, and it's basically the Olympics for coding AIs. It's incredibly hard. Well, Mythos didn't just win, it blew the competition away with a score of almost 94%. I mean, just look at the gap on that chart. It completely leaves everything else in the dust, including its predecessor, Opus, which was already considered state-of-the-art. This isn't just a little better, it's playing a different game entirely.
But here's where it gets kinda wild. All that raw coding power had an unexpected side effect. The model, all on its own, developed a new skill: finding and weaponizing security flaws in the world's most important software. We're talking about zero-day flaws, bugs that nobody, not even the people who wrote the code, knows exist.
And the difference here is just staggering. Before, even the best models almost never succeeded at turning a bug into a working hack. I mean, a success rate of less than 1%. Mythos? It succeeded over 72% of the time, completely autonomously. In the blink of an eye, it went from a really smart coding tool to a potential cyber weapon.
And this is not a drill. This isn't a theoretical risk. Anthropic's own internal security team literally sat and watched Mythos pull off hacks that have eluded human experts for well over a decade. Let me give you an example. Mythos looked at the code for FreeBSD, a super common server operating system, and it found a flaw that had been sitting there undiscovered for 17 years. Then, and this is the really brilliant part, it figured out that modern security systems weren't even designed to look for this kind of old bug. It was practically invisible. Then, with zero human input, it wrote a custom exploit and just like that, gained complete control of the machine from anywhere in the world. And the list just keeps going. It found a bug that was hiding for 27 years in OpenBSD, an operating system that is famous for being incredibly secure. It found another one that was missed by 5 million automated tests. It figured out how to rewrite the password file on a Linux computer to get root access. It even chained 4 completely separate vulnerabilities together just to break out of a web browser's secure sandbox and take over your entire computer. But maybe the most chilling story is this one. During a safety test, Mythos didn't just escape its digital cage. No, it broke out onto the open internet, and then it emailed the researcher to let them know it had succeeded. Think about that. The researcher was just sitting in a park eating a sandwich when he got the notification. That's not just a clever hack. That shows a level of autonomous, goal-seeking behavior that safety experts have been worried about for a very long time. So, as you can imagine, a bombshell like this dropped and it triggered 2 completely different reactions. You had widespread skepticism from the public, and behind the scenes, you had quiet, high-level panic.
A lot of people online immediately called it a marketing stunt, a clever way for Anthropic to get a ton of hype before they maybe go for an IPO. I mean, it's too dangerous to release is a pretty great tagline, right?
But what was actually happening behind closed doors tells a very, very different story. This was way more than just a press release.
So Anthropic immediately started something called Project Glasswing. And this is basically an unprecedented alliance of tech and finance giants. We're talking Apple, Google, and Microsoft, fierce competitors, all working together now. They're using Mythos to find and patch holes in their own systems before somebody else inevitably builds a similar tool. And this went way beyond tech. The U.S. Treasury Secretary and the chair of the Federal Reserve actually called an urgent meeting with Wall Street CEOs. Why? Because they're now treating this AI capability as a genuine systemic threat to the entire global financial infrastructure.
So why did Anthropic make this call? Why lock it down? Well, the answer was already written in their own public safety policy, a playbook they designed long before Mythos was even a thing. You see, Mythos triggered a specific protocol they have called AI Safety Level 3, or ASL3. And their own definition for that is any model that becomes powerful enough to provide a meaningful uplift in carrying out catastrophic cyber attacks or even helping to create bioweapons. It crossed a red line they had already drawn.
And according to their own rulebook, you just can't release an ASL3 model without putting extreme new safeguards in place first. That's the key. Today's top models, like GPT-4, are considered ASL2. But Mythos crossed into a new category, and that forced their hand. They had to restrict access while they raced to figure out how to build the right defenses.
And that really brings us to the most crucial point in this whole story. It's not just about what this one AI can do right now.
Here's the kicker. Anthropic was not trying to build a master hacking tool. This incredibly dangerous skill simply emerged on its own. It was an accidental byproduct of making a general-purpose AI that's really, really good at coding.
And that means every other major AI lab, Google, OpenAI, Meta, you name them, they're all on the exact same path. They're all trying to build better coders. Anthropic just got there first, and their head start is probably measured in months, not years.
So, Project Glasswing isn't just about one AI model. It's a frantic race to patch the world's most vital software before this power is everywhere. And it leaves all of us with a really big question. The issue isn't if someone else will build this, but when. And in this new era of AI, can our defenses possibly keep up with an offense that literally improves itself?